Start the clock.
I'm not even starving in North Korea, and I want to eat them up. And driving at 3, that's a very young age to learn to not signal. Government officials must calm down and look at this logically. It's Maine. The best quarantine policy is there's nowhere to go anyway.
Oh, come on.
I'm just kidding. I love Maine. I was in Portland this year. New rule, Kim Jong-un must lend his binoculars to his barber. That haircut doesn't say Supreme Leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. It says House Party Sequel. New rule, someone has to explain to Kim Jong-un that instead of threatening the U.S. with nuclear war every time he needs some wheat, just ask for wheat. We've got plenty of wheat and corn and potatoes, whatever you need. If you don't take it, we're just going to make it into Pringles. And in exchange, you've got forced labor camps. We need blue jeans. Let's work out a deal. New rule, don't be like Delaware's Marlo Holmes, who police say was transporting 28 grams of cocaine in his prosthetic leg. 2 ways to tell you're using too much coke. 1, you're storing it in your prosthetic leg. And 2, your girlfriend notices you're limp. New rule, if you're one of the people who scored free tickets to see the Pope when he visits, and now you're scalping them online for $500, I don't even believe in hell, but you're going there. Don't you see, you're cashing in on people's desperation for salvation, and that's the church's job. New rule, now that Ringling Brothers Circus is phasing out the elephants, they also have to phase out the clowns. Because the only reason people put up with the clowns is the chance one might get trampled by an elephant. New rule, bloggers who are obsessed with the new Cinderella's waist and how it's too small and unrealistic have to produce a realistic woman who wears glass shoes and clothes made by animals and rides in a pumpkin pulled by rats. New rule, now that surgeons in Florida have successfully reduced a man's penis from 7 inches long and 10 inches wide, a condition complicated by painful multi-hour erections that won't go away, the next time he meets a genie, he must be more specific. New rule, now that surgeons in Florida have successfully reduced a man's penis from 7 inches long and 10 inches wide, a condition complicated by painful multi-hour erections that won't go away, the next time he meets a genie, he must be more specific. And finally, new rule, someone needs to tell those wackadoodle militiamen who took over a federal building in the middle of nowhere in Oregon that to be a hero, you need something to be heroic about. These guys keep promising to occupy that building until, well, we're not sure. And they're not sure. Something about redneck lives matter. Just listen here to one of them, Patriot John Ritzheimer, explaining to his kids in a video he posted from his truck why he had to leave.
It's going to be one of the tougher videos I've had to make. Your daddy swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. And that's why he couldn't be with you on Christmas.
Wow, seems like a lot of trouble to go to just to get out of spending time with your family over the holidays. Why not just drink like the rest of us?
And new rule, you've got to go see my new documentary, Food Chains. And speaking of food chains, I can't think of any lower person on the food chain than a guy who would take money from coal companies and then deny man-made climate change. On Tuesday, flip John Klein. Go to flippadistrict.com.
Okay, you know, people say to me all the time, Bill, I get all my news from your show. I say, as it should be. But what about August when we're off? That's the problem. But here's the thing. For people who get all the news from our show, don't worry, because our crack staff, who is so crack, they can predict the future. So we do this as a tradition every time we're taking a break. Future headlines that you know are going to happen. For example, mass illness on Carnival Cruise Line. Okay, that's just, you know, that's going to happen in the...
Yeah.
Okay. Royal baby does something every baby does, world is blown away. Okay. Gun accident claims life of exactly the kind of person you'd expect. Scientists discover mice have been bullshitting them for decades. Malaysia Airlines lands one. Oh, well, it's gonna happen. That thing the NSA says it doesn't do, it does. Yeah, it's gonna. In 5-4 decision, Supreme Court rules female orgasm unconstitutional. That is inevitable. That is inevitable. So gonna happen. NFL season begins. Americans realize how much soccer blows. And GM to recall 3 remaining cars. It is graduation month, and we've done this before on this show. If you're anybody here is graduating or know someone who's graduating this month, a very joyous occasion. And at the graduation ceremonies, the students have taken to writing little messages on their caps, like, thanks, Mom and Dad, I love you, or hire me. That's a very popular one. It always seems impossible until it's done. Well, in these difficult times, the millennials, you know, they write different things on their caps that are a little more pointed. Would you like to see some of the ones we took pictures of? Okay. For example, if you can read this, you obviously didn't go here. Thanks, Mom, and the woman who used to be Dad. Hire me or I'll join ISIS. Oh, right there.
We do need to do something.
PhD in science, but willing to deny global warming. Texaco, call me. Thank you, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, for not raping me. Will work for Adderall. Clueless, incompetent, TSA, hire me. Zero student debt. Thanks, sugardaddies.com. And cum laude, I sure do. All right, that one's always a winner. After listening to the people and boning up on the congressmen and their boners, mistakes, not dirty-minded people. And after mulling over 16 candidates, tonight we start announcing the final 4. And it's all playing out on our new website. Check it out, flippadistrict.com. And it restores my faith in the people that the candidate who garnered the most votes in the first round, the round of 16, is truly one of the most deserving to take a fucking hike. From Minnesota's 2nd District, give a nice real-time welcome to Congressman John Klein, the first one of our final 4. Now, he is not the most outrageous or quote-worthy. He's just a down-the-line right-wing asshole. The kind of guy who, when people say, why doesn't anything get done anymore? This guy! And one's just like him, that's why. So remember, only one lucky district can receive our offer of shining a national spotlight on your loser of a representative. And there are only 3 slots left, so if your guy is one of the 15 remaining candidates, keep hitting us up on #FlipADistrict and at flippadistrict.com. It's time once again for our Flip a District update. We are down to a final 4 representatives, one of whom will wear the crown of congressman people most want to see out on their ass. Last week, John Klein of Minnesota was the first to go up on the board. This week, we head down to Corpus Christi, Texas. Joining the Final Four, one of my favorites from the Tweet 16, Blake Farenthold. Come on down, Blake. Now, it'll take an act of God to unseat this guy because The Hill magazine named him #1 on the list of Congress members who benefited most from gerrymandering. But we can't pray him away. I'll take a good old-fashioned ground game any day, Corpus Christi. Remember, there are 2 weeks till our summer break. 2 more slots to go. Go to flipadistrict.com or hashtag flipadistrict. Flip a District. This week in our bracket, we've got some hot kook-on-kook action. First, from Michigan 7th, it's birther Tim Wahlberg, who said recently that Americans are, quote, slaves to humanism, pleasure, sexual perversion, drugs, and drunkenness. They are if you do it right. And from Indiana 2nd, it's Jackie Walorski. Jackie was a state rep who lost her bid for Congress in 2010, so what the Republicans did for her, they gave her new voters. That's right, she is a gerrymandering queen, and don't forget, this is what we are fighting against. So, there are only 2 slots left, and like an insecure porn actress, we're looking to fill both holes. This is your last chance, people. The last 2. So hit us up on social media using hashtag #FlipADistrict. Let's go move on to Flip a District because yesterday we found out which 16 teams made it through to the knockout round of the World Cup. But tonight we complete our Tweet 16 bracket of congressmen competing in Flip a District. First up, we would like to reward the fans who made a kick-ass website to kick the ass of Washington State's Dave Reichert. But stiff competition, Dave, in the man from Tennessee's 4th, Scott DeJarle. Scott is a veteran of our previous Craziest Congressman series here on the show. He's a family values pro-life guy who had affairs with at least 6 women in his clinic. Yes, he's a doctor, and yes, he pressured at least one of them to have an abortion. Please, Jesus, let it be this guy. Anyway, we will announce the Final Four in our next show 2 weeks from tonight. If you want your loser to win his way to the final round, hit us up on social media using hashtag #FlipADistrict. New rule, if you live near Minneapolis, you must open your window right now and tell me if you see a coal mine. No? Then you need to vote out the guy who cares more about coal companies than he does about you. Now close the window, you lunatic. It's cold in Minneapolis. Go to flipadistrict.com. We are down to a final 4 representatives, one of whom will be announced at our September 12th Washington, D.C. show as the loserest loser of all. Last week, Blake Farenthold of Corpus Christi was the second to go up on the board. This week, our loser congressman is a congresswoman. It's Renee Elmers of North Carolina's 2nd District. She's running against Clay Aiken. And she is.
It's the punchline.
And talking like Todd Aiken. Here's what this genius said last week. Men do tend to talk about things on a much higher level. We need our male colleagues to understand that if you can bring it down to a woman's level and everything that she is battling in her life, that's the way to go. A woman's level? Has she met Louis Gohmert? So welcome to the Final Four, Renee Elmers. 1 more week till our summer break. 1 more slot to go. Go to flipadistrict.com or hashtag #FlipADistrict. Okay. There you go. Every couple of weeks, we've been adding flip-worthy candidates to our Tweet 16 bracket. I've been following that. Time to add 2 more. From Michigan, say hello to former professional Santa Claus impersonator. I'm not making that up. And current amateur congressman Kerry Benevolio. His constituents there on the 11th District are very excited about the prospect of a Kerry-less future. But he's got competition from New Jersey's 5th. That happens to be my hometown, where my sister still lives. And Congressman Scott Garrett, you are not liked by a lot of people in my old hood. I read up on you. You're probably going to win, but you are kind of a dick. So Let's put these guys up on the bracket. The bracket is starting to fill up, so remember, if you want to use our magnifying glass to burn your pesky ants of a congressman, hit us up on social media, #FlipADistrict. Now, all right, now it's time to update our FlipADistrict brackets. Out of nowhere comes Congressman John Klein from Minnesota's 2nd District. Students there launched the FlipADistrict Twitter campaign that sent Klein skyrocketing from number 75 all the way to number 1. And we here at Real Time listen to the people. Klein didn't just oppose the Student Loan Forgiveness Act. He actually wrote a bill to reduce the budget deficit by raising rates on student loans. But if Klein makes it to the finals, he might have to contend with Steve Sutherland from Florida's 2nd. He's a mortician who was swept into office in 2010's teabag takeover. And what this mortician wants to embalm more than anything is food stamps. He's the leader in the House to reduce benefits. He's an evangelical who believes strongly in Jesus' message to the poor, thou shalt shut up and get a job. So let's throw these up on the bracket. And don't forget, if you've got a congressman you want to tell us about, hit us up on social media using #FlipADistrict. FlipADistrict, everybody. You've been following the FlipADistrict? Hi, I'm Johnny Olson, and today's contestants on our evil plan to oust one super lame congressman in this November's elections are Ted Yoho. And no, the name is hardly the stupidest thing about him. And Mike Kaufman, the congressman who said that Obama, in his heart, is not American. Which explains the deal with the Taliban. Now, Mike is from Colorado's 6th District, and he is very flippable. So our friends out there in Colorado, put down the joint. And hit us up on social media and get your boy in the running, because the other guy, Ted Yoho, is a long shot. He is in one of those safe for conservative districts that send people to Congress like Ted Yoho. Ted Yoho, who mused out loud that maybe we should go back to the system where only landowners could vote. Really, Florida's 3rd? This guy said that and he's untouchable. Come on, get it below 10 points and we'll talk. All right, let's put these two up on the bracket. Remember, there are 6 slots left. It's getting exciting. #FlipADistrict is all you need to know to get in the game. FlipADistrict, it's coming down to the wire as we add a couple more boobs to the brassiere known as FlipADistrict bracket. First up, one of the most reliably ridiculous right-wingers from Iowa's 4th, Steve King. No, not Stephen King. This guy's even scarier. Also going up tonight for Michigan's 1st, please give a warm FlipADistrict welcome to future former Congressman Dan Banashik. Dan and his hair were both swept into office in the 2010 wave. He's a medical doctor who says global warming is, quote, all baloney. I don't know much about him, but he sure sounds like a real asshole. Remember, there are only 4 slots left, so if you're in desperate need of a radical douchectomy, hit us up on social media using #FlipADistrict.
You can't buy what you can't find, but you can't buy what you find that you can't buy, but you can't.
New rule, don't vote Kate Gosselin off Dancing with the Stars. Of course she can't dance, but if we keep her surrounded by gay people, she also can't get pregnant. New rule, if I can't suck your milkshake through a straw, it's not a milkshake, it's a glass of ice cream. Now blend it again. Welcome to Baskin-Robbins. My name is Kevin. And this time, give it a minute. Hey, you're in a pink and brown smock. It's not like you have a date later. New rule, when your crash investigation reveals that your plane stalled at 38,000 feet and then fell out of the sky in a 3-minute long plunge of terror, Don't tell anyone. Really, you want to make us feel safer? Just say the Arabs did it. New rule, stop saying the TSA had no business patting down that 6-year-old girl in New Orleans. Sure, to the layman, she looks like just another cute first grader, but to a highly trained TSA agent, she has all the signs of a terror baby. The shyness, the fidgeting, the slight aroma of animal crackers. Go ahead and complain, ACLU do-gooders, but don't come crying to me when little Ashley here takes over a 747 and crashes it into Legoland. New rule, to save time, from now on, just tell me the countries we're not bombing. Last week, President Obama sent his flying killer robots to bomb Somalia just to make Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Libya, and Yemen jealous. You know, if your robots are attacking more places than you can keep straight, you're not a Nobel Peace Prize winner, you're a transformer. New rule, the members of Tiger Woods' harem have to stop fighting each other. This week, number 3 had some harsh words for number 11. And 11 wasn't having it, so she told 3 to kiss off just the way 14 told off 19 a couple of weeks ago. Girls, relax. If you can't sue, there's always Playboy. And if you can't do Playboy, there's Maxim. And if you can't do Maxim, there's a sex tape. And if you can't do a sex tape, what the hell were you doing with Tiger Woods in the first place? New rule, stop talking about gun rights. Guns don't have rights. Think about it. Do you really think if guns had rights, there'd be so many of them in Alabama? Okay. All right. New rule, throwing a guy's corpse off a boat isn't a burial at sea. It's fun, but let's not ruin a beautiful week with bullshit. I promise if the CIA doesn't call it a funeral, the ACLU won't call it posthumous waterboarding. New rule, if you're a current governor and in the process of running for president, you prove to everyone back home what a dipshit you really are. Rick Perry. They don't have to take you back. Think of it as a late-term abortion. That's right, Rick Perry. Texas can secede from you. New rule, you're not supposed to have your ghostwriter at your book signing. Famous baby maker Bristol Palin took out an ad on Craigslist that said, "Please join Bristol Palin and her ghostwriter in a special book signing." Way to shatter the illusion there, Bristol. Even Snooki is smart enough to pretend she wrote her book. New rule, white trash is as white trash does. According to the recent Vanity Fair article, Sarah Palin's baby is named Trig Paxson Van Palin after the band Van Halen. So let me get this straight. The first name is the place you had sex, and then the middle name is the 80s hair band you were doing it to? What's the next baby going to be named? Hot Tub Whitesnake? New rule, you know you're a badass when you kill 9 Somali pirates in the afternoon and you don't even mention it at the party that night. That's the difference between Obama and Mitt Romney. Obama kills pirates. Romney tries to convert them. New rule, yes, you can determine your intelligence through those pop-up internet IQ ads. If you click on them, you're an idiot. New rule, now that I, as an American taxpayer, am a majority shareholder in General Motors, they must bring back the tail fin. Who doesn't like fins on cars? They're like the tits of the auto world. They're retro, they look cool, and at the rate the polar ice caps are melting, we're going to need fins. New rule, critics must stop saying that Jay Leno's new show is too much like his old show. What did they think the new show was going to be? Jay and Kevin Eubanks move to a small fishing village and solve mysteries? New rule, stop telling me to have a safe flight. Like I have some control over that. Thanks, and you don't get struck by lightning. New rule, if you're one of the richest 1% who just bought the new $8 million iPad 2 that is made from solid gold, 65 flawless diamonds, and slivers of Tyrannosaurus Rex bone, then a representative of the Wall Street protesters gets to come to your penthouse and shove it 99% up your ass. New rule, stop asking the Supreme Court to rule on stuff they don't understand. Last week it was email, now it's violent video games. What are they going to take up next? Whether you can follow someone on Twitter who's defriended you on Facebook? Sexting? These justices are old. Judge Kennedy's idea of cyber sex is tapping out "Who's your daddy" in Morse code. New rule, former Klan Grand Wizard David Duke is not allowed to run for president again. Hate to break it to you, Dave, but times have changed. The Republican Party has changed. And let's face it, you're just way too liberal for them now. New rule, if you're going to make an updated, more realistic Footloose about a high school kid in rural Kansas who's fighting for his right to dance, he should probably be gay. And he's not fighting for the right to dance, he's fighting for the right to learn about evolution without also having to learn about how Jesus rode dinosaurs. New rule, as long as they're thinking of dropping Saturday service, the post office can go ahead and just close altogether. Since about 1998, no one in America has gotten anything in the mail but catalogs, bills, Christmas cards, and anthrax. And I hate Christmas cards. At least when you get anthrax, you don't think, oh shit, now next year I have to send them anthrax. New rule, Jerry's kids deserve better entertainment. You know, it's bad enough you have a disease. You also have to spend Labor Day watching Lee Greenwood and Kathy Rigby? And that was just the first hour. By 3 a.m., there was a stagehand playing Lady of Spain on wine glasses. You know, I love Jerry, but he's going to be awfully embarrassed when science finally proves my theory that muscular dystrophy is caused by prolonged exposure to Tony Orlando. New rule, guys have to stop saying that crazy women are the best in bed. I'm sorry, but half an hour of great sex does not make up for 23.5 hours of weeping, setting the pillows on fire, and coming at you with a butcher knife. And conversely, women have to stop saying the best sex is with bad boys. If that's true, then why aren't you fantasizing about Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein? New rule, President Obama must quit smoking. Not for his health, just because people who quit smoking often display human anger. And I want my president so cranky he could rip Jim Bunning's eyes out. Not only should we take his smokes away, I want a car alarm going off on Pennsylvania Avenue every night until AIG gives us back our money. I want all the White House faucets to drip and Joe Biden to phone during the Bulls game. I want the kids to get bad grades and Michelle to stay out late with an old boyfriend who's going through a tough time. New rule, unemployed Americans must move to Europe. The European Union has 4 million unfilled job openings and is desperate for skilled employees, but in a pinch they'll take Americans. True, you may have to work in a scary socialist country with free health care, but on the upside, your morbidly obese children will be a novelty. New rule, Mexico is closed until further notice. I don't want to say that country is too dangerous, but the new warning to travelers is don't drink the water, use it to clean your stab wounds. I tell you, even Mexicans are frightened of Mexico. At last weekend's sex show in Tijuana, the girl asked the donkey to just hold her. The donkey New rule, now that Katie Couric is leaving the CBS Evening News, she must return full-time to the job she was made for, making Sarah Palin look like an idiot. New rule, if you're one of the 1 in 3 married women who say your pet is a better listener than your husband, you talk too much. And I have some bad news for you. Your dog's not listening either. He's just waiting for food to fall out of your mouth. New rule, if you don't want your movie to tank, give us at least a teensy hint what it's about. John Carter. I think I sat next to that kid in homeroom. Seriously, Disney, if you only let me know that this was the gripping tale of a guy on Mars fighting a race of alien warriors, then I could have made an informed decision not to see it. New rule, and I shouldn't have to say this, but no, God does not want you to breastfeed your coworkers. Listen to this. A new fatwa in Saudi Arabia declares that women should breastfeed their male colleagues and acquaintances. That's right, in order to establish maternal relations and thus preclude the possibility of sexual contact. Because really, nothing says, let's just be friends, like putting your tit in someone's mouth. New rule, stop pretending that drugs have an expiration date. So what if the Tylenol expired last year? It said Aminophen, not egg salad. Besides, the other day I found some mushrooms in a jacket I haven't worn since 1986, and they work just fine. New rule, California Republicans shouldn't be mad at Arnold for betraying family values by screwing the maid. They should be mad because he's from Austria and he was making an anchor baby. I'm not sure what an Austrian Mexican 5th grader would sound like, but I think I talked to one when I called AT&T to change my cell phone plan. New rule, once the people of Egypt and Tunisia are finished rising up against the corrupt, moneyed, entrenched powers that have kept them down for so long, they must tell us how they did it. New rule, now that the movie Battle Los Angeles has shown us what hostile aliens can do to a city, conservatives have to admit that maybe Mexicans aren't so bad. New rule, stop telling me your toddler is going to be a heartbreaker or that she's flirting with me. It's just creepy and makes me regret having lunch alone at Chuck E. Cheese. New rule, stop telling me your toddler is going to be a heartbreaker or that she's flirting with me. It's just creepy and makes me regret having lunch alone at Chuck E. Cheese. New rule, ladies, until this whole cannibalism fad blows over, when you're on a date, don't tell the guy, I want you to eat me. 99% of the time it'll be great. It's that 1% that's going to ruin your evening. New rule, no more communal tables at restaurants. Would you mind sharing the communal table with our other guests? Yes, I would. Because this is a restaurant, not a minimum security prison. There's a time and a place for sharing a table with a bunch of strangers. The time was 1965, and the place was my first day of school. New rule, no more communal tables at restaurants. Would you mind sharing the communal table with our other guests? Yes, I would. Because this is a restaurant, not a minimum security prison. There's a time and a place for sharing a table with a bunch of strangers. The time was 1965, and the place was my first day of school. New rule, you can't advertise a cruise with Kate Gosselin and expect me to come unless she's kidnapped and consumed by pirates. Forget John and Kate plus 8. I want John's ex-Kate gets 8. New rule, someone must fix the glitch in the internet whereby people who pre-order my new book online somehow receive free porn and Canadian Vicodin in the mail. If people go on Amazon.com or BarnesandNobles.com to pre-order the book, The New Rules, a funny look at how everybody but me has their head up their ass, I'd like to think it's because it's a hilarious read and the perfect stocking stuffer, and not, like I said, for the free porn and Vicodin. New rule, stop saying Noah never built an ark. He built a shitload of arks. This week, a team of Turkish scientists, and who doesn't trust a Turkish scientist, announced they found Noah's Ark. Well, one of Noah's Arks, because other Noah's Arks have been found in 1973, 1993. In 2006, they found 2 arks. That was a great year for ark finding. This newest ark is the best, though, because an Iranian scientist, and they're also very good, said the wood is 4,800 years old. So in your face, Richard Dawkins. And boy, do I have egg on my face. Coming this summer, my new documentary, Religious Full. New rule, silent but deadly Bob has to shut up. I don't care that Kevin Smith is too fat to fly on Southwest. He made Jersey Girl, and Zach and Miri make a porno. I want to know how he can afford to fly on Southwest. New rule, if you're a guy who raises your kids in a culture of violence and hate, as neo-Nazi leader Jeff Hall did, and then your 10-year-old gets mad at you and snatches a gun from your stockpile and shoots you dead while you sleep, oh well. New rule, the news media has to stop telling us every time some dipshit finds a message in a bottle. It's not some fateful dispatch delivered by destiny. It's litter with a return address. If I'm on a beach vacation and I find a bottle, the message inside better say, "I'm Jack Daniels, drink me." New rule, stop complaining about the hefty $10.99 price tag on a new 6-pack of the new Dungeons and Dragons soda. It's not like you're going to need that money for a date. New rule, stop calling it Obamacare. It's not like Obama will be the doctor for your next prostate exam. That's just a common fantasy of Republican men. New rule, stop calling it Obamacare. It's not like Obama will be the doctor for your next prostate exam. That's just a common fantasy of Republican men. New rule, stop hitting on women at the dog park. Yes, we're talking to you, divorced guy with a ponytail. That better be a milk bone in your pocket, because we're not glad to see you. Women come to... Can you stay for every show? Women come to the park to exercise their dogs, not to socialize with hounds. They wouldn't pick you up if they had a plastic bag on their hand. Although if you're determined to meet a woman at the dog park, here's a tip. Get a dog. New rule, the local news has to stop covering tax day by interviewing morons who waited until the last minute. Who cares what the guy standing in line with a crayon and a box of receipts has to say? It's like asking Jesse James what's his favorite Jane Austen novel. If I want to hear the uninformed opinions of a clueless idiot, I'll follow Chuck Norris on Twitter. New rule, if you have a TV remote built right into your couch pillow, they have such a thing. You also have to be fitted for an adult diaper and a feeding tube. So you may never have to make any effort whatsoever to do anything. I know it seems like a good idea, a remote in your pillow so it never gets lost, but then the dog humps it and changes the channel. New rule: after 5 years on the market, billions of dollars spent on development and advertising, and a gigantic presence in stores, if Microsoft is really going to discontinue the Zune, they must first tell us what it was. New rule: stop trying to slip stimulants into my stimulants. Traces of cocaine have been found in Red Bull, which explains their new slogan, Red Bull, it gives you wings and a soft penis. Drinking Red Bull with cocaine is just redundant, like watching golf on Xanax. New rule: don't censor Huckleberry Finn. Hearing there are bad words in it is the only reason teenagers do read it. In fact, we should add bad words to the other American classics kids won't read. Make Leaves of Grass, Leaves of Ass. The Great Gatsby, The Great Big Tits. And of course, Moby Dick stays Moby Dick. New rule: if you tweet neat stuff about your life for your friends to read more than 10 times a day, I could tell you a neat fact about your friends. They hate you. New rule: if you can force a woman to look at a sonogram to see what will happen if she has an abortion, you also have to let her see a crying baby, a bratty 5-year-old, and a surly teenager to see what will happen if she doesn't. And you have to tell her it costs $204,000 to raise it until it turns 18 in 2028, where it will be a slave to the Chinese in a radioactive world with no animals, fish, or plants. Okay. New rule: there doesn't have to be an app for everything. Researchers are developing a cell phone app they say will diagnose STDs on the spot. So while you're downloading the Clash, you can get tested for the clap. Of course, the hard part isn't making your lovers understand the importance of safe sex. It's getting them to pee on your iPhone. New rule: everyone has to stop acting surprised when Google decides to invade your privacy even more. It's Google. Of course they're watching you. The word ogle is right in their name. And if you're so worried about privacy, there's an even scarier site that records everything you do, the time you do it, and has photos of you and your family and all your friends. It's called Facebook. New rule: Mitt Romney needs to get a job just so we can fire him. Look, presidents need empathy. Bill Clinton felt people's pain, especially if that pain was in their tits. But Romney needs to be taught. So before November, he must get his ass hired, fired, and then taken home in a little plastic crate strapped to the roof of his campaign bus. New rule: news radio stations must find a sponsor besides mortgages, tax problems, bankruptcy, erectile dysfunction, and garage doors. It sounds like a Jeopardy category. Things in a suicide note. Darling, please forgive me, but there was no other way out after the mortgage drove me into bankruptcy and the IRS slammed my penis in the garage door. New rule: ABC must accept the reality that it's at least 4 years too late for me to start giving a rat's ass about Lost. The big mystery could be my PIN number. I still don't give a shit. New rule: the LL Bean catalog doesn't need to have a black guy in it. I know you're trying to be inclusive, but not once in our nation's history has a black man put on a turtleneck and wrinkle-resistant chinos, slipped on his moose-hide slippers, gone out to the mailbox and proclaimed, "Yes, the LL Bean catalog is here. Now I can get that canoe I've always wanted."